G'day and welcome to everyone around the world to our Kids Master Chefs Live. Very sorry about the delay. We did have a few technical issues and trying to connect with our friends who you will meet very soon. We have special visitors. We have Tiny Chef 1 and Tiny Chef 2 who sent us videos after one of our recent episodes, and they gave us such inspiration that we thought we would have a whole weekend of Easter cooking with kids. So for our first Easter weekend meal, we're going to first say hello to our Tiny Chefs. So welcome Tiny Chef 1. Fantastic. And Tiny Chef 2. Welcome, and we love you being with us. So we're in Sydney, Australia, and they are joining us from Melbourne, down in Victoria. All right, so what we're going to make today is we are going to use chocolate and treats of your choice, and we're going to create an Easter bunny mess, just like your messy bedrooms. All right, so to begin, we're going to place a saucepan half filled with water onto the stove so it can boil. So, grabbing my pot, I've just turned my stove on. Half filling it with boiling, or will be soon, boiling water. Now, if yours takes a little bit longer to boil than expected, you might want to get one of your parents to quickly put the kettle on and then make sure the water is ready for you very soon. So while that's boiling, you may choose to now collect your container and your baking paper. So this is my lunchbox container. So what I'll do is I'll then put the baking paper inside. Now you want to make sure it covers the bottom and it basically goes right to the corners. If you would like a square, your baking paper tray is super sensational, much better than mine. And I'll just fold it over to make mine look a little bit as nice as yours. All right, if you realize that now your container is not suitable for what you want to do, you may want to go and get a baking tray or something like that with sides like a loaf. And you might like to just change your tin very quickly. That's up to you. All right, so our water is boiling or starting to boil. I can feel the warmth. So in the meantime, let's set our container aside and bring your bowl closer to you. The first thing you need to put in is your butter. So add the 1 teaspoon of butter. And after you've done that, I have pre-cut up is my chocolate pieces. So what you would do if you're at home is you would open up your container or your chocolate. I won't use my teeth, as sharp as they are. Open up your chocolate container or your packet and very slowly just break your pieces of chocolate from your 180 gram bar, placing them all into your bowl. Now I've chosen dark chocolate, that's my preference. And with the dark chocolate, I love to be able to use the leftovers at the end to dip my strawberries in. So that's my choice. Okay, so I'll just wait a moment. Our mini tiny chefs are also moving over to their saucepan, pouring their chocolate into their pan, and I'm going to do the same. Well done. Okay, what I also make sure that we do is we place a spoon or a knife or something in between the pot and the pan. Now that's very important. So the steam does release, so that's also for safety reasons. Otherwise, when you take the lid off, the whole lot of steam will come up and we don't want anyone hurt. Okay, that's going to take a little while to melt. I'll also make sure I have a long spoon or a cooking spoon or a wooden spoon that I'm going to use to stir that constantly. Well done, guys. All right, moving back over to here. All right, we've broken our chocolate, we're melting it, and we're getting ourselves sorted. All right, what we're going to make very soon once that's melted is we are going to create, these are concoctions I've made earlier. This is an Easter bunny mess. Now you'll see that we're going to use the chocolate as the base, and then we're going to design different ways to present our chocolate. So from adults all the way down to kids. For the adults, I had coffee with white chocolate or macadamia nuts with sultanas. For the loved up couples, you may end up having the lovely luscious lips with sprinkles around it, and then some other fancy designs, if you like Victoria's Secret, the wings that you would like to put in your chocolate. All right, so let's go and see if our mixture is melting. Let's go and stir, because it is important to see that someone is watching it. Now, safety reasons, we need to make sure that we have a tea towel or we have oven mitts, because the pot and the pan and the bowl can get quite hot. So make sure we're not touching that and stirring it around until your chocolate has melted. And then that's when the fun begins. Now, as part of the Easter weekend, we're going to have a different recipe and a different live session every day. And it's going to be based on kids and what they would like to make. So tomorrow it's going to be pancakes. So live tomorrow with pancakes. How are you going over there, tiny chefs? Oh, I can even hear you now. Woohoo! Thumbs up already. All right, so I'm mixing it in. My butter's melted. And now I would say my chocolate is about 25% melted, so not too bad for that. All right, what we're also going to introduce tomorrow. So from 9 a.m. tomorrow, we're going to make pancakes. And at the end of this today, this live session, Steve is, our mate here, co-chef, is going to tell us what ingredients you need to have ready for 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, Eastern Australian time in Sydney. Okay, then from 10 a.m., are you ready for this? At 10 a.m., we are going to give you one fantastic game that you and your family can play on Sunday. And then at 11 a.m., I'm going to give you another game that you can play with your family on Sunday. And then we're going to do that every hour till we tell you the 5 best games we can come up with that I used to play when I was growing up. So if you like the sound of this one, then you might want to join in tomorrow. All right, I'm half melted. Well, my chocolate's half melted. My heart's always melted. Okay. So for tomorrow, for example, I'll give you one now. One of the games that you can play, and I'll show you tomorrow, is you boil eggs. So say if there's 6 people in your family, you boil 6 eggs. Then you put another 1 egg, or actually boil 5 eggs if there's 6 in your family. 1 will be in a basket that is raw. Then you will put the other cooked eggs into the basket. Then as a family, each person goes around and takes one out of the basket. When you take yours out, you smack it against your forehead and you hope that you have the one that's not raw. So it may sound like a bit of a silly game, but it's definitely a lot of fun. All right, I am 75% melted. Look at that, my chocolate is just about melted. So 1 or 2, not even 1 or 2 minutes, about 30 seconds, because it's still going to melt while I bring it over. Look at our tiny chefs, and Mum is helping as well because that's the heated part. Now, when we take our silver bowl from the stove over to our bench space. Make sure it's a safe bench space. Beautiful. And be careful because the pot you're transferring from here is going to be hot. So make sure someone of an adult or a carer is doing all the hot components, the heat for you. All right, so what I'm going to do is bring my pot to turn it off and looking at my bowl here. All right, what I'm going to do is with this bowl, I'm going to pour most of it in because I want to show you a couple of different ways that we can actually use this melted chocolate. So I don't want my bottom layer to be too thick, but I want it to be thick enough to be able to set the lollies in it. But I don't want it too thick where it's actually going to cover the lollies and the treats are going to fall and sink into it. So, all right guys, are we ready? I'm going to wait for my tiny chefs. Tiny chefs have given me the thumbs up. So let's turn to the tiny chefs. And in the meantime, oh, look at that. So they've chosen to go for the milk chocolate. I'm going for the dark chocolate. And tomorrow I might go the dark and then do little swirls of milk chocolate or white chocolate. That is awesome. We have future Michelin chefs in the making. They may even have their own cooking show soon. We have loved having you on. That was definitely an agreement from Tiny Chef 1. Tiny Chef 2 is working hard. And while they're doing that, for people at home, I'm going to show you how you can also use molds that you have at home. But I didn't know who would have molds at home and didn't want people to have to go out and buy them. But if you do have molds at home, you can create molds, use your mold, and place chocolate inside the molds and then place your lollies and your treats in here. Beautiful. So I'm just going to do 2 or 3. That should be enough. But you get the idea. You could do love hearts, you can do stars, you can do whatever you like. Now, I'm going to pretend I've used all my chocolate. I'll just put the excess into the container here. All right. Thank you, sir. All right, let's move this over and I will melt my white chocolate later and I will do some special designs over the top with white chocolate. All right, now making sure today, once you've got your chocolate like this, you might want to just swirl it around the bottom of your tray, making sure that it's all covered. Tap down the bottom and that will make sure it's nice and even, especially because it's nice and warm. All right, now it is still a little bit too warm inside the chocolate, so you don't want to put your finger in just yet, but very soon that's something you may be tempted to do. What precision in your cooking, tiny chefs. Very impressed. And when they've emptied their bowl, oh, they're not leaving a dot behind. And when you've emptied your bowl, you can place that into the sink and your parents can then fill that up with water so that or just a little bit of water so it doesn't stick to the bowl and makes it easier to get off. Look at that, safety first. That's what I like to see. All right, now that we have our container, I don't need my oven mitt on anymore either. The heat and the hot part is actually over, the dangerous part. Now the fun begins. So, like I said, this is now your choice. Whatever you've got as your treats at home, it is totally up to you. I love marshmallows. And when you've got hot chocolate and the marshmallows are dipped in, that's amazing. Oh, look at what you've got. You've me so happy. Oh my goodness. You've got mini Easter eggs. You've got everything in there. Oh my goodness. The colour is going to look awesome in here. I've even got, are you ready? I'm going to put a whole licorice all sorts in mine. Putting it in there. I'm going to pretend that's like a rock. Or it's like a tree trunk that's just fallen down. And these sour worms. Look at that. I love how they're working together. This is a united family. Look at that. And what they might have to do is when we put our recipe up tomorrow, we might get feedback from them as to what they're actually putting inside.
Somebody's stealing.
Oh, someone was taking some. What is that? Is that caramel?
Popping candy.
Popping candy, one of my favourites. Right, we're going to have to get some voiceovers in future, and then that way they can put it in their mouth, open up their mouth, and we can hear the popping. So while they're decorating their insides, making sure it's being nice and fair, I'm going to continue with mine. So like I said, I'm going to have a worm digging underground, so down head first. I love my mustics, so I'm going to throw those in there. A few Skittles around, because this is mess, this is fun. I love tubes as well. All right, he's even shaking it around. Tap it on the container and voila. That is unbelievable. Are you proud of yourselves, Tiny Chefs? Are you going to join us this weekend for one of our other special recipes? I can't wait. All right, now that's going to take an hour or two to settle. Now, whatever you've got in your cupboard, if you like Tim Tams, if you like things like that, you go and put it in. I like coloured sparkles, so I'll add some of that in there. I may even add some white ones as well. Mine doesn't look as amazing as yours, but it soon will. Now that will take an hour or two for it to just set nice and strong. So let's have a quick look at that. Woohoo! Now you might be a neater person and want to carefully place it on there. That's fine. What have you got? Look at that, impromptu, innovative students. I love it. So they've gone to their cupboard and thought, oh, there's a Tim Tam, or oh, I've got chocolate topping, or caramel topping, or something else that they're going to put on.
What is it?
What have you got now?
Sorry, hold on. Say it again. Hundreds and thousands.
Hundreds and thousands. Wow, that's a fantastic treat. Yes. So this is my old one that we made. And these are, like we said, some of the other ones. Oh, I love seeing kids that are so proud of their works. Gordon Ramsay, eat your heart out. All right, now we can't obviously now with coronavirus, but in the future, what you can do is you can take these out, cut them up into little tiny pieces, put them into like a cellophane wrap, tie a little bow to it, and these make great little gifts that you can hand out at school and things like that. Give them to other students on your birthdays. Oh my goodness, you can teach me some things. Look at them cleaning up after themselves. All right, guys. I have had an absolutely amazing evening and I have enjoyed my friends, and I think we're going to be lifelong friends. So, guys, I have enjoyed myself. Thumbs up to you and thumbs up to the rest of the world, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Ingredients. Are you ready? Listening carefully.
3 eggs.
3 eggs. How many? Show us, Tiny Chefs, how many eggs? 3 eggs. Awesome. What else?
2 cups of flour.
2 cups of flour. Is that plain flour or self-raising flour?
Whatever flour.
Okay, whatever flour. That's easy.
Some milk.
Some milk.
Depends on how thick you want the banana.
Yeah, if you want thicker pancakes, go for full cream milk. If you don't mind them a bit runnier, then go for the skim. I'm going to suggest food colouring. So we can have some fun with the colours. And then we've just had the last suggestion as sugar.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we will also put a little typed comment as to how much of all that to have, and then obviously that may vary depending on how many people in your family. Guys, top stuff tonight. Are you all okay? Yay! See you at 9 a.m. in the morning, and I'll have my eggs ready. See you guys. Bye. Thank you. I might eat one now.